Well, there you are. Again, Charliegreerpodcast today. So, I'm back. Crime is strange. That's what we're talking about today. If you want to holler at me, support the channel, Cashapp, Charliegreerpodcast, all in the description. So let's do this. So, um, I I was doing this like I'm sorry about the glare. Should I take these off? I can't see. Well, there's nobody in here. I was doing my podcast like every day for I think 9 months. I did like 300 days in a row. Then I quit. Decided, I surrender. Um, but I've been missing. It's been like a couple of months, and I did 2 updates that I promptly deleted. But I thought I would do one. It's Friday. I've been working hard. Why not? Why not? And my podcast would. I'll be the first one to admit the worst podcast in the history of podcasts. I'm just not that good at it, but I like doing it. It's like therapeutic. So crime is strange. Um, my podcast wasn't a true crime podcast. I like true crime, okay? But you know, and I understand that the views I did get were about true crime. Mostly about the Delphi murders. I'm fascinated by that case. I think there's a lot more going on than most people suspect and what they're telling us and this that, and that. But it's a fascinating case. And if you do want to go down that rabbit hole, if you will, I would suggest the Ruckus Rocks, Outside of the Grid, Sleuth Intuition. They Frank, Unresolved Crime. They're the Hefes. They know more. I'm just a schmendrick in front of a laptop. But crime, see, and this pertains to crime. I'm going to tell a yarn, if you will. I'll tell a true story that happened to me in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. I think I've talked about this a little bit, but I think the statutes are over with. I wasn't involved in the crime. Look, it just I happened to be around. See, that's another thing. You can just be shit happens, man. Crime is strange. So I got somebody in here. Thank you. Who is that? See, I can't see. Well, thank you from the 3021. Um, so this is around 20 years ago, maybe more, 25. Uh, I lived across the street from Paramount Studios, which is a big studio in Hollywood, California, on Van Ness. You can Google this. I lived on Van Ness. Again, and also let me just say this, that this is my humble opinion, speculation, assumption. I got to put that in there because everybody, their stories are it could happen anyway. So my street, Van Ness, supposedly the Russians were controlling that side of the studio. That's what they, humble my speculation. That's what the rumor on the street was, right? I would see these old Russians, but I didn't, I'm just living my life. The other side of Paramount, because Paramount's huge. I forgot the name of the other side of the street. Supposedly the Yakuza, the Japanese were the ones that anyway, that was the rumor, if you will. And you never saw any Japanese or Yakuza. That was another but I heard this from I'd never worked at Paramount. Well, when I did The Beat Goes On, there across from Paramount, they have like little different studios, and then across from in front of Paramount, I forgot the Raleigh Studios, but it's not used to be Paramount, now it's Raleigh. But then Paramount has these little sub studios. So I auditioned a lot at Paramount, but I never really worked. So I lived across from Paramount in a building. I forgot the address, and I'm thank God I did, because I might say it, and I don't want. So this is again 25 years ago. I'm coming home, and this is on Van Ness across from Paramount. There are the goings on. Okay, I forgot how many people lived in my apartment building. Everybody that lived in the apartment were like actors, actresses, writers, set people, musician. You get the, you know what I mean? Wardrobe. Everybody was a creative person. And then on that side, there's actually an entrance. I think it's the executive entrance where you can come in and out, and there's security. And if you can, so I lived on the third floor. I can go on the fire escape and see into Paramount. They had their own gas station there for the executive. It's nice. You can see them doing the sets and this, that, and other thing. There's a town inside of Paramount, like a small town. It's huge. So I'm coming home, and I forgot what I was doing. Honestly, I forgot even what I was. Again, this is a long time ago. You're not paying attention. People are coming and going. Cars, people walking their dog. A lot is going on. And I'm right in front of my building, about to go up the stairs. And I hear some commotion. And I turn, and there's one of those old dudes, and he's got like a hand cannon. Boom. And he started firing maybe a 45, I don't know, big caliber handgun. Pardon me. I was probably about, I don't know, I probably could have reached out and touched him, maybe 2 or 3 feet, Just happened to be, I wasn't paying attention. My head was down, He starts, and I don't know if you've ever been around like gunfire or like hand, you know what I mean? Like you could feel like little grit, like you can smell it. It's loud. It's like, after they shut. So I go running into, not only me, everybody that lived in my building, and you had to use a key. So somebody had opened the key and slung the metal gate with this big metal door, and it's boom, hits the wall. So everybody's holding it. We're running. I remember I dove in through the lobby area where all like the mail boxes were. And then I had to cut a right, then a left to get my apartment. So I got in, I could hear, other gunfire. Okay. I don't know what's going on. I had seen the old dude. I'd seen him around. He looked like so old. Okay. He was a Russian. He'd wear this blazer. I mean, you'd never think that he would, again, I didn't know him. I don't speak Russian. So I get my apartment, and I can hear people in the hallway chattering, and they're in the lobby, this, that. Here comes the helicopters, the ghetto birds, whatever the hell. I turn on the news. It's on the LA news. And I'm just like, thank God, you know what I mean? You're like, dear Lord, why me? Kind of thing. But there was other people. I just happened to be the closest to this dude. He was walking by, So I didn't think much of it. I mean, it's LA. Then there's a knock on my door. I don't know how much time went by. I like kind of open it through the chain. It's the cops. And dude, people had dry snitched me out, whatever. Like the guy, he will know who did, tell it me. Like he was the closest to the shooting. He's a witness to the, I don't know, witness, man. Come in, whatever you're going to do. No, I didn't see, I didn't tell him anything. Why? For one, I didn't see much. I'd seen the guy maybe a half dozen times in the neighborhood. I'd heard the rumors about what was going on with whoever, I don't know. Okay. And I said no. And they're like, we know that you. I was like, man, you got the wrong dude. I wouldn't. There's all these people out there. Yeah, I was out there. And in all honesty, I was the closest. I ain't gonna be a no. Hell, an idiot would know you don't say. You know what I mean? Like you don't. A witness to some kind of nuh-uh. So they kind of like, come on, we know. I was like, hey, dude, I was out there. I heard gunfire. I didn't, I don't know who the fuck it, technically I knew who it was, but I didn't know his name. I didn't know where he, So they're like, fine, I'm like, okay, whatever, man, go about your life. Again, helicopters. I'm watching, the news is on. It's then I found out that they had locked like a mile. My roommate actually was coming home. He had to stay up till like 4 a.m. They weren't letting people into the neighborhood. Oh, and I forgot to say a guy, whoever he was, I never had ran onto Paramount. I guess shot, and then he died on Paramount. Okay, That's what at first I heard. Like he was shot and he was on Paramount. So I'm watching the news, and hey, who's on here? Hold on, let me look at my chat real quick. Kid, what's up? Jeff Jones, hello. Thank you guys for checking me out. So, I missed you too, Jeff. So I missed everybody. My roommate calls. He's like, "Hey man, I'm stuck out here. You were all, waiting to come in the apartment." I didn't say anything. Like, yeah, there's a shooting. So I don't know how many, might be an hour or two. I'm watching it on the news. It's just live. It's a thing in LA. They got the scene. We're all here. There we are. Saying we're on the street here. There's a shooting. They're Paramount. All that stuff. Then the story starts to unfold. Now this is where crime gets weird. Okay, crime is strange. Yeah, this is they start telling this tale about, yeah, there was a shooting. A guy ran onto Paramount and committed suicide. Now, that's what they told the public. Everybody in the neighborhood, I'm talking about thousands of people. There's thousands of actors and this and that, people at Paramount. They fucking know, huh? I'm going to say anything. Good. Because that means they're not going to, again, the cops already came to my door and I was pissed. Like, who told them? Who's the snitch? He was the one that was, I was just walking home. I just happened to be like 3 foot from a dude shooting a hand cannon, some street shit, some elevated street. I don't know what was going on. Okay. I don't know this and that and the other. Shit, I can't see. I'm sorry, guys. Tina. Hello. Good to see you guys. Thanks for showing up. So saw a dude shooting. I didn't see the guy who was shooting at. Story I heard later was the guy ran on to Paramount and died. Then on the news, they're saying that a guy ran onto Paramount and committed suicide. So this is the point I'm trying to make. Crime is strange. That's what they put out to the public. Man, that didn't happen. Okay, nobody committed any suicide. That's what who are the people pulling the strings? Go, yeah, we can't. Okay, we gotta spin this story. We gotta. So I know this happens. This is just one story. I happen to. So when it pertains to other things, like even say the Delphi murders, which I'm kind of fascinated by, could there be something like that going on where there's people that know, yet they're telling this? I don't know. Again, speculation, opinion. I'm not saying there is. I just know that crime is strange. I've been around certain things. This one story I can talk about where I had nothing to do with anything. I'm an artist. At the time I was doing my creative stuff in Hollywood, walking into my apartment building, some old dude shooting like a 45, near my face. It was right. Again, if you've never had a gun shot, my ears were ringing for days. I could smell. And the cops were saying they could smell the gunpowder. Hey, I didn't know. Yeah, I was out there when they were shooting a gun. Gunpowder gets up because I don't know if you guys know this, but there's gunpowder that sprays. It's a thing. No, I didn't do it. So they couldn't really do anything. They're like, then I'm thinking, who would put me in that danger? This is dangerous. You don't want, obviously we all knew about the Russians and this, that, and the other. No, he's in apartment so-and-so. He was the one close to, huh? All y'all out there and you're pointing the finger at me. Like, I know what's going on. Like, my head was down. I didn't see. So around 3 or 4 in the morning, my roommate comes home. What the hell? I tell him, I'm like, look, that old dude, those scary Russian guys or whatever down in that building. And he pulled out a gun and started shooting. So I don't know. Like, who would be in that mentality to just pull out a big hand cannon and crowded? There's security cameras in Paramount. Matter of fact, they had him in the vine, they had this wall and it's covered in these vines. You can see that and you can hear him. There's 1,000 cameras out there. Don't come to me. You guys know, you know. I thought they were looking. I'm thinking, man, they're looking for the snitch. They're looking for a witness to fucking whack or something, you know. Again, I moved out there to be like an artist and stuff. It's dangerous out there. You know, it changes you. You get a little callous on you. You know, you get you know, you're just trying to go home to. I was gonna walk my dog. Pardon me. She needed to walk for like 3 days. I'm like going out there, you know. Let's read some of these comments. Gonna celebrate, Jeff. Thank you so much. It gets bizarre. Yes, blaze it up. I don't smoke. I don't smoke herb. Used to, but no, I'm smoking. My dog's doing good. Thank you, Tina. So okay, so I was literally cleaning up like poo. I was scared to go out with my dog. Scared like to leave the apartment. So I forgot how many days it was out walking my dog. On the Paramount side, there's a big wall so you can't see over, and they got vines on it, like this shrubbery, you know. And there's cameras, you can hear them, see them, you know. And they have speakers too, because there's been times where I was out there and my dog's taking a poo, and they're like, "Hey, clean up after your dog." Like, I'm like, "Yeah, I am. Can't you see the bag in my hand? Like, you know, I'm gonna clean after my dog. You know, I'm gonna clean up. Shit, leave me be. Don't you have murderers to find?" I'm just walking my dog. You know, they kind of harass you when you're walking your dog on their grass because it is nice, you know. So I'm walking my dog. It's maybe 4 to 5 a week later. And again, I'm not paying attention. You know, I'm walking, okay, go potty, you know, with my dog. I look up, here's this old Russian dude. Okay. In the same old like wool blazer and the imprint of a gun. Probably the same hand cannon that he had in his pocket. And he's coming at, and I thought, I mean, I got so scared, y'all. You can't swallow. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation like this where you're just like, oh, you know, and my dog's freaking out. And he's just, you know, moseying up. And I thought I was gonna like, you know, pass out, throw up, shit, all that at once. He's like, you know, and he's like, "You're smart," you know. And I didn't know what to say. Because he did it like he acted like he was just walking by and he said that. And he kept walking. And I was like, I had to be probably white as a ghost. I mean, I was shaking. You know, I couldn't even swallow. My mouth was so dry. You know, well, you know what I did? I moved like to Echo Park, which is like, you might as well be in another world in Echo Park. This was in Hollywood proper. I moved to Echo Park, which is probably like, how many miles would that be from Hollywood? Not that far, maybe. You know, you can Google it. But I moved to Echo Park. I left my furniture. I literally just took my bed, just took my clothes and guitars and you know, my dog. I didn't tell anybody, you know. And then friends were like, "Why would you leave that? You had a great apartment. It was cheap. And why didn't you?" And I was like, "I just wanted to move. I didn't gonna get into, you know." I told my roommate at the time but I'm not gonna. Other people I knew, I don't want too much to, you know. I'd have never left that apartment. It's right there on Paramount. What were you doing? It's perfect. And there's a waiting list to get in there. Well, I mean, I didn't want to get. Well, see, a guy had shot. None of that, you know. Just, you know. And then he said, "You're smart, like you." So he knew. He knew. So if obviously they must have been, who knows? You know how word spreads. This is a guy that was probably could ID you. Thank God he didn't shoot me. Be another suicide on another guy. Dang it, another suicide at Paramount. You know, none of that. I might have left. I mean, I literally left as soon as I could. It might have been back then. It was easy to get apartments. It was the apartment I got was in a bad area, but it was away from, you know, I didn't even tell my landlord or nothing. I broke a lease even. I had like more time on the just gone. And you know, like a thief in the night, you know. Couches, table, everything in the kitchen, my bed, lamps, TV, none of that. Just Couple quick trip, pull my car up middle of the night, just throw stuff in, my clothes, I think I had like a couple guitars, an amp, my clothes, my dog, gone, you know. And then I'm in a another apartment with like I need to go get mattresses and you need all that stuff. Pots and pans and spoons and coffee cups. So, crime is strange. This was a major metropolis, Los Angeles, Hollywood, Paramount's involved. So quick, within hours, they've spun a story like it was a suicide. A guy ran into Paramount and committed suicide. Like, what channels what strings are being pulled to cover that up? And then how could this dude that did it just be walking around free? Like, did they talk to him? Did he have to be like, oh, do me a favor? No, I mean, I don't know. It seemed like it was just like no big deal. Quick and easy. This is what we do. Like kind of routine. Like, oh, we need to cover this up. No big deal. Well, hell, shit. Of course we will. That's a suicide, It makes you think. You're like, well, shit, man. And then little old Charlie Greer, like, well, fuck, I'll be a stain on the street if I. So how does it pertain to other crime? You got to ask yourself. Is that a thing? Like is there like a spider web of connection of criminality, if you will, power structures, where something you can just I mean, who called the news and told them what to say? It happened so quick within hours. They're telling this lie. Is that the world we live in? And that was 20 something years, maybe 25 years ago. Crime is strange. Crime is weird. Don't believe what I don't trust anybody, man. I mean, because I've seen it firsthand. Well, shit. I mean, again, you get wrapped up. I had nothing to do with any of this. I happened to just be going home and wrong place, wrong time. That's a thing. You think, oh, that'll never happen to me. Well, come on. And why did it, and who was the one that, this is what I was thinking, like, did Paramount have the video and they sent the cops to me? You know what I mean? Like, did the neighbors stitch me out, or did the video and they, they were right at my door within a hour, maybe half an hour, I don't know, knocking at my door. Then they said they talked to other. That's another. Maybe somebody did. Well, it was him. He's in, 103 apartment. I don't know. Scared, man. So you got to think about. Let me check you got to think about what's going on. You got to think about. I got out of Dodge. Yeah, ghost in the darkness. He's gone. Just, Yeah, man, is rich as what he can do without. Yeah, I tucked tail and ran. I I left everything in the apartment. My roommate left too. Matter of fact, I think he left before even. So with any other crime, you've got to let's just speculate a little bit here. So with any municipality, like any town or big city or whatever, are there these power structures where people are just told what to do? Like, read this on the news, and it happened so fast. Like, it was so, again, routine. Like, they just like, well, let's just do that, no big deal. Oh, later on, I was cruising by my old on Van Ness there, and these Russian lived in this building. And so in LA, they'll have these driveways that kind of go down. They're open, and they go down. There's a parking garage underneath, and it's open. Sometimes they have like a metal gate, but then it was just open. There'd been a car bomb It was still there. It looked black. I'm surprised the building didn't burn, and the car was all bent up. You could tell it was like boom, like somebody had blown up a car. Still there, charred, this, that, and the other. You could smell it. I was like, what in the, did this happen? Did this have to be, is this pertaining to the, perhaps I thought, so you just never know. So with the, any crime like the JFK assassination, of course, there's something else going on. Again, with the, pardon me, Delphi murders, I think something else is going on. Some kind of, I don't know what it is. They might even know. It might come out in trial or whatever. I always said that they weren't going to go to trial. Maybe I'm wrong, but could it be? Because that's the first thing in my mind when I hear a crime and it's not being solved and this, that, and the other thing, and they got all this evidence. I'm thinking, is it corruption? Is it because something got people are told what to do? I mean, is that what it is? Could be, perhaps. We'll leave it at that. But I think so. I think that honestly, out of this, and this again, it had to be over. I know it was over 20 years ago. And well, hell, I unlucky because it happened, but then I got lucky that nothing happened to me. And that old dude later on goes, "Yeah, you're smart." He walked by and said that to me. Like, damn, this is some gangster shit. And maybe he knew. Like, dude, this guy is just another creative dude. He's walking his dog. He already kept his mouth shut. Man, it was a test. Let's send the cops, see what he's gonna say. I didn't see shit, man. And they were on me. This is LAPD. We know what we saw. And they might even have said, "We have you on video out there. What? You're the closest one. You saw him." Not me. I don't want to. I mean, I was lying to save my own fucking ass. You know what I mean? Like, come on. And I'm not a snitch either. Be a witness. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna testify against the fucking Russian mob. Are you shitting me? Yeah, that's what I would know. Again, bad luck. Just you happen to stumble upon. You're going home, and it was a beautiful night. I don't know if you guys ever been in California or LA, Hollywood. It's all oranges and purples. Sun was setting. You can smell the lemons and the fruits, and you know what I mean. I was gonna come home. Usually there was a party in the building, or not a party, but like people barbecuing on the fire escape, or just drinking beer, hanging out. Everybody's a creative person. They get stories to tell, like, "Oh, I worked on this set," or "I was this set." I was looking forward to that. And then, boom! Like, did you not believe how loud this? And you're running for your life. I mean, people are pushing people out of the way. Buzzkill, like major buzzkill. Let's see here. Delphi drives me nuts. Yep. Someone is hiding something in the Delphi case for sure. Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot more people. I think there's more people involved. Well, they've already, I think that I actually think that the prosecutor's he'd been dangled around. When I saw that, pardon me, when I saw that video of like that town meeting where he was begging for $5,000, that tells me something is that's a test. They're testing him like, hey man, let's see if he'll go out and beg for $5,000. See how loyal he is. He might not know. Again, people don't come up like, oh, by the way, we want you to. No, you're just told what to do. They don't explain shit. The best spies are ones that don't know they're spies. The best slaves are ones that don't know they're slaves. Come on. I mean, we live in this corrupt world. Read any ancient book. Look, the story it is told. This guy shot a dude that ran onto Paramount, busted through there's a smaller entrance at the end. He must have jumped a fence, whatever it is, died inside of Paramount. And they're saying it was it was a suicide. He jumped it and then committed suicide. That was on the news. And that was so scary. I was like, oh, I didn't go out and talk to my neighbors. I mean, I might have the closer neighbor, and I can't even tell you who was my next door neighbor at the time. He's a huge famous star now. Yeah, I'll never tell. Okay, Jeff Jones, I cannot believe that Carroll County cops didn't just say, oh, Ron Logan did it after all. Nothing more to see here after he died. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you think there'd be trail cams out there? Do you think Ron Logan wouldn't have trail cams out on his property? You know how cheap those things? You can go to Walmart and buy a friggin' baker's dozen for what? You know, throw some batteries in it and a memory card or something. Slap it on a tree and disguise whatever. Didn't they? And they were found on his property. See, again, strange. And then his phone ping, like right around in that area, like at night or something. I don't know. The night before they found him. Stormy Daniels. So yeah, pertaining to the Delphi, could there be some kind of because there's all these secret societies people are involved in from the beginning of time. You know, the names change and this, that, and the other, and also just cronyism, nepotism, favoritism. My boy so and so, and I was the mayor, and I'm the sheriff. You know, so my mind always goes that way. This is my just humble opinion, personal opinion. Okay, my mind just directly goes to corruption, cover up. That's just I lived in Los Angeles for 24 years. It's just over and over and over. And I think the statutes are, well, I don't know. But anyway, I didn't name any names. I didn't, that old dude's probably dead by now anyway. Maybe blew up in the car, the bomb that was under I don't know. Perhaps he did. But yeah, it's something to think about. Yeah, with the Ron Logan thing, don't you think he would have put out trail cams? Again, I hate to get on the Delphi, but I'm fascinated by this. And again, the subject tonight is crime is strange. So I know within my personal experience, I've had like weird things happen out of the fucking blue. Okay. He was the cops at your door. Like, we know that you witnessed it. And I didn't. And technically I was right. All I saw was I didn't see who he was shooting at. And I was probably concussed from and I was telling partly the truth. Yeah, I was out there. So was 100 other people. Go talk to the people. And I was arguing with the cops. And I was kind of looking at him like, dude, you don't want to, come on, man. Will you put me in a situation? Sounds like the Nick Cage neighbor story. Yeah. I knew so kid is talking about, I forgot I said this on a podcast. So when I lived on June Street in Hollywood, right beside Valentino Park, right directly across the street from my house was Nicolas Cage's baby mama and his son, forgot his name. He was a kid back then. So I'd see Nick Cage going to and fro. I never talked to him, but her and I became friends, and we'd actually used to go to the Pasadena Rose Bowl flea market, huge flea market, awesome. And then his son now is like this huge dude. He was like singing like a death metal band or something. But yeah, my Nick Cage wasn't my neighbor. It was his baby mama was my because okay, when you live in Hollywood proper, you can't swing a cat without somebody here, there, this and that and the other. Right down the street, on June where I lived, was it Vampira, the mistress lady of the dark, whatever she didn't even live in a big house. I mean, it was a small, probably a 2-bedroom house. Well, and then she had like an old like hearse, and then an old like 50s car, and I would see her dressed up because she's a redhead, and she would wear like her, and I would, you run around there, and she'd be coming out, and we were like, hey, and we thought, remember the first time I talked, I was like, I didn't know you lived right here. She's like, yeah, I bought this house years ago. She couldn't. Matter of fact, on June, what was his name? Ben Harper. He's like a blues guy or something like that. He's across the street and about 10 buildings down. He's on the same street, but again, you live in Hollywood, there's people everywhere. And his building was a little nicer, and you just, everybody, you can't, and then I used to live in, okay, the place that when this happened, the shooting incident, I moved to Echo Park. I rented a duplex, and it was, God, what was her name? Because when I rented it, the guy was like, hey, in the bathroom, there was all these drawings and poetry. And he's like, you can't paint over this or disturb it, because it was an actress used to live here, and now she's famous. I forgot her name, but she was in Pulp Fiction. She was Honey Bunny in the beginning of Pulp Fiction. She's the girlfriend of Tim Roth. What was her name? Samantha Plummer or something like that. Like, I used to have her own apartment. Scotty Beers, when Scotty Beers lived with me in like 98, 99 out in Hollywood, that's where he lived with me in that apartment. And Amanda Plummer, I think that's her name. He saw the same, and she was pretty cool. She drew all this really cool stuff and wrote poetry. At the time, I guess she was struggling and nobody, and she became famous, whatever. But yeah, I used to have her old apartment. Let me see this. Oh my God, I want to go to the flea market one day. Yeah, Tina, man. I don't know if they still do it, but the Pasadena, no, the Rose Bowl flea market, it's huge. The parking lot of the road, it is awesome. There are, I still to this day have leather jackets and stuff from the cheap Western. I used to collect Western shirts. So yeah, Nick Cage's ex, his baby mama, if you will. And I'd let her, because I had a driveway. This is another thing about people had street parking and there's no drive, or if the driveway, you have to share it with like 3 or 4 other tenants. And so I had a driveway. People would come like, hey, can I use your drive? And I used to wash my car. At the time, I had a 72 Mustang Fastback. Awesome. This is like 98. They would come over and ask me to use my driveway and like bring me beer and pizza and like pay me. I'm like, no, keep your money, man. And that's how I met her. She's like, hey, can I wash my car in your driveway? She saw me. I was like, yeah, come on over. And so I met her, and we were just friends. Amanda Plummer. She was, I used to have her old apartment. So yeah, it's a small world. So I moved from this on Van Ness, right across from Paramount, to Echo Park. And I'll tell you exactly what it was. It was off of Alvarado, where Sunset and Alvarado is. And the name of the street there is, because it kind of went up. I lived on the hill there. God, what was it called? Anyway, yeah, I had Amanda Plummer. So I moved into not knowing everywhere. Again, you cannot swing a cat without somewhere. Well, Marilyn Monroe used to live here. See, it's just, shit. It's small. Hollywood is small, like Hollywood proper. We're not talking about Silver Lake or Echo Park or shit. Hollywood. Like, I lived in Hollywood for like 10 solid years, because then I started moving out Venice Beach, and I've kind of moved Echo Park, and but I lived in Hollywood, and it just cramped in, and there's street parking, and then again, having a driveway will make you a social butterfly. Like, can I borrow your driveway to wash my car? Sure, man. and people waiting. They'd be like parked out on the street, and then a guy would wash his car, and then beers and pizza with hot dogs. Who knows? It was a thing. I miss those days, man. Matter of fact, we lived right beside, there was a big green metal fence, and then there was a park. Man, I lived there for a month before I walked in the park because there's all this weird stuff going on in the park. And then there's a statue of Valentino. It's Valentino's probably like, what the fuck? Valentino. And then if you go up a block, that's where Sunset Sound is. It's a historical like studio where like everybody's recorded. Then catty corner from that, there was like this little strip mall where I Roro's Chicken. I'd get my falafels, and then directly across the street is this like old Catholic church, and then the City of the World. It's like these old, cool kind of office buildings. They have like this globe, in the front. Anyway, yeah, I miss those days, man. I miss the Hollywood days. I had so much fun. I'm glad I got to see like old Hollywood. I got to before they started turning everything into a Starbucks, and but yeah, crime is strange, and you live in that little bubble of Hollywood where you see okay, so when I was on June Street, where I had the driveway. I lived across the street from Nick Cage's baby mama. So I'd walk up, not even a block, because then you took I think it wasn't Fountain, maybe it was Fountain, for like a block, and then you went up another block, and then you're on Sunset. So I'd get up in the morning, and I like to get up in the morning and walk Sunset. There's all this, the hotels and this, that, and the other. And I would want to get up, I'm sometimes a morning person, so I'd walk, and they call it the marine layer. It's beautiful in the morning. The sun comes up like 5 or 6 in the morning. The marine layer, it's all clean air, and Hollywood, and also it was peaceful because that play, man, Sunset's so busy. So in the morning, I'd walk Sunset, like I walk in the morning, So I used to walk a lot more. So I'm going down Sunset, and I forgot the name of it might have been the Safari Inn. There's these old Hollywood hotels that now are probably gone. I know they're gone. So I'm walking in the morning, and they have these, when you pull into these hotels, there was an overpass, so you have to pull in, and usually they have like a pool there, and you could see the stair, the second level of it's like it's weird to explain. It's like a building, an opening where they draw, so I was walking past, and I look over, and I see God, what's her name? Damn, I forgot this actress's name. But it was Matthew McConaughey, and what's the girl from Speed? I forgot her. She's brunette. I mean, I'm literally like 50 feet from their the hotel room open, and they come stumbling out like haggard looking, with like holding clothes, but they're dressed, but they're like, they look like they've been partying all night. And they're like, hey, because I kind of stopped looking, like, because at the time they were huge stars. I mean, they still are, but I just kept on walking. I didn't say anything. Like, they were embarrassed that I'm thinking, why were they in this run down? Why would they go there? Why wouldn't they Sandra Bullock? Yeah. Sandra Bullock. Yeah. Her and Matthew McConaughey with fuckhead hair, and obviously something had been, why would they? I was green at the time. I didn't, and then I told people, and they're like, oh yeah, well they just, if they go to a nice place, the paparazzi, they report the proper, they'll go to these lower level place just to get their freak on, just so nobody know. Well, of course I saw them coming out. Well, I'm not going to call this is before TMZ. So you would see this stuff, again and again and again. I almost got in a car wreck with Madonna. I remember we and we get out. It's fucking Madonna. This was like 98, 99. She's like, I'm so sorry. And I was kind of starstruck. I didn't really say, like, what the fuck, Madonna? And she got in her car and took off. I almost got in a car wreck with David Lee Roth. I flipped him off and I was cussing him. And then I thought, oh, damn, there's David Lee Roth. Sorry, Dave. He's like, boobsy, boobsy, bop. I swear he did that. Sunsets on the beach, blowing back some Cali Kush. Those were the days. Well, sunset leads to the beach, but once you get up proper sunset, it turns into like really nice mansion-y kind of, I never hung out in that area. When it gets close to the beach, for one, you don't want to take Sunset to the beach. Sunset Boulevard, you can get there. I'd always get to the beach. I would go down La Brea, then take a right on Venice, and then just take that to then you have the park where the boardwalk is. Venice was I wouldn't go to the beach at Venice. I just like the boardwalk. There was a bar I used to like to go to. There was the Dollar Pizza. I used to love to go there. Big as your head pizza slices. And really cool. You used to be able to get like 3 t-shirts for $10. So you would like buy 3 or 6 for 20 and then send them to your friends back home. Yeah, Venice, but it changed. I mean, it changed. It got crime. Again, it goes back to crimes being strained. Venice became really crime ridden. Then it became a homeless encampment. You just couldn't. Dear Lord. Jeff Jones. Yeah. Cocaine and whiskey on the beach when I lived in Florida in the late 80s. I bet it was a wash with cocaine in the 80s. I used to live in Florida. I lived in Largo as a kid for like 10 years. My dad had his medical practice in Tampa, and we lived in Largo. And then he went to medical school in was it Jackson? No, where's that medical school? It's like northern Florida. Anyway. Yeah. I've always just been more of a drinker, and I was a pothead for a while. I don't smoke herb, but I'll have a drink. Like tonight, I'm having beers. Usually I'll have beers on Fridays. I work now. I got a full-time job. So I have some beers on a Friday. I had a long week, man. Dear Lord. But good times. And again, crime is strange. You just don't fucking know until you've kind of now I'm not saying everything is, and it's just a few that are pulling the strings, but I think there's this, it's like a spider web and it's immediate, man. Bam. It's well, you don't want to go fucking around, you'll find out, But yeah, I would think that it's everywhere. It isn't. Not everybody. Again, like even within a corrupt system, it's not everybody that's corrupt. They don't explain things to you. I recommend, and I've told this story before, I recommend you reading Keith Richards' book called Life. Keith Richards, he's a guitarist of the Rolling Stones. Read his book. Awesome. He tells a story in there that really rings true to me. When they first got popular and they were green, he was like young, okay, maybe 18 to 21, something like that. Right around their first, they start getting popular, sign with these big corporate management, whatever the fuck it was. The money starts coming in. He's like, hey man, I want to buy a sports car. I'm getting this money. He didn't have any money. He's got business managers and it's not like they're handing him money. He has to go through these channels. Like, oh, you want to buy a sports car? Well, yeah, we'll test drive one tomorrow. And they tell him where to go. He shows up. He's like, yeah, I love this sports car. Oh, hop in. And they're like, okay, pull around. Okay, okay, in the park. They tell him where to go and park. We'll be right back. We're going to do some paperwork, bring it back to you. He's waiting. They come running back. They had robbed like a bank or a diamond store or something. Next thing you know, he's a getaway driver. And they're like, fucking move. Ah. And he's like, what have I gotten into? So not only his management or whoever they were, I've forgotten the book what it said, but they're also in this criminal element. Now he's got to keep his mouth shut. Now he is a fucking getaway driver without knowing it. And supposedly he said there was like a draw, a sketch of him. They're looking, a suspect draw. Can you imagine? Now he dipped his beak in something he didn't want to. He's got it probably to this day. And it's in his book. This is Keith Richards, man. Crime is Strange. Again, read his book. He wanted to buy a sports car, and the people he signed to didn't tell him until it was too late. Now they're like, this is how it is. He had to learn quick. Can you imagine how his mind was, what's this? Yeah. It changes you, man. Now you look at Keith Richards. That's why he is. Look at his haggard ass. He's been through so much. Did that happen in the Delphi? Did somebody like, hey man, park here at the wherever the fuck? Could it be? Because what you do when you're doing a crime, you want to put some layers between you and you want to have a fall guy. Fall guys are a thing. That's why you get away with crime. That's what you do. I'm not saying it is in the Delphi. It's just my mind goes to that. Anytime politicians are corrupt, man. Even if they're not, they're straw men or they're just put into position. They're not told. It's like, hey, by the way, we're gonna do again. Back to Keith. They didn't tell him he's gonna rob be a getaway driver. He just happened to what in the? Can you imagine? He had to keep his mouth shut. And these people are under the guise, if you will, of management or agents or whatever. It's not what you think. We want to think it's all rainbows and lollipops, right? Rainbows and no. It's weird, strange, if you will. I would well, be forewarned. Even with but the reason I quit my podcast because I was getting hacked, this, that, and the other thing. Matter of fact, I did 2 updates because I did it every day for 9 months, 300 in a row. And then my last update, I deleted it like immediately or the next morning or whatever. They shaved off views. So I know how many views I got, which is not many. Okay. And they, because you can click on go into your profile. It says about, click on about. It'll show how many views you've got total. And I was like, are you kidding me? They dropped it down. I was like, oh, fucking shit. Maybe I should be doing this. Perhaps not, But I thought I would do one, I might start doing like one a week. I miss everybody. I actually miss doing my podcast. But again, they hacked my phone, my computer, my Cashapp. They did. I was getting some strange email. Again, they did trolls. I don't know what and why they would come at me. I have no idea. I wouldn't. I was censoring myself too. And I clicked that button that says it's not for kids. Again, I sound like I'm repeating. I've said this before. I don't like to talk about it, but Jeff Jones, politicians, cops, judges, prosecutors, and lawyers are dirty as can be. Perhaps. It's a people suck. Perhaps, Tina. Perhaps they do. Well, read any ancient fucking book. This is nothing new. Yeah, organized crime can be a hot layered pile of mess to make a reason. Yeah, organized crime. How they well, they modeled that after the Roman kind of thing. So you have like a boss, consigliere, foot soldiers. So it's like a pyramid kind of looking thing. So when a crime, like the top people have are insulated with many layers. So when you have like a street soldier or a guy that's going to go do crime or whatever, well, he don't know who. He's just told what to do. And these dudes, that's why it's so hard to get to because departmentalized. That's what the military does too. Um, a general just sends you out to fucking die. Oh, shit. And again, I wish life wasn't like this. I wish that it was, because there's politics to deal with. I recommend getting into the people business, like knowing how to read people and, you know, um, because most people are building you up. They're trying to. Anybody comes at you. I mean, that's another thing. I'm always looking at the angles. People are highly overrated. We're all people, We're all guilty of certain things, the same shit. And supposedly this develops when your brain is developing. So some people turn into psychopaths and sociopaths, and they're very charming and smart. Well, I mean, uh, that's that can be taken how smart it is to kill people, but gotta be careful. So what do you guys think about the Delphi? Do you think there's corruption going on? Have you seen that video where the prosecutor is begging for $5,000? Why would the whole case be balanced on this one person they were hiring that turns out that isn't a specialist like they said they were for an extra $5,000? You gotta think about that. In my mind, now this is just a humble opinion, speculation, assumption, is the prosecutor. I think the prosecutor, what is his name? He's catching on. Like, wait a minute, people are trying. Am I? Because I don't think that again, he's not being told what it was. It was a tell to see how loyal he'd be. Will he go out and do? They're probably going, man. There's no way he'll do. Don't even. We got to test him. It was a test to see if he'd go do it, and he did. Nick, is it McClellan? Nicholas McClellan or something? I think he's being dangled. I think he's actually picking up on it too. I think he's going, wait a minute. He's kind of like that Keith Richards, like, holy shit. Too late now. Has he ever prosecuted anything? You guys know? Maybe he has. I don't know. Is he like Perry Mason, where he's just so I think that they again, it tells in life could be that he I think a few of them are I think Doug Carter is like, what the hell is going? Doug Carter seems like he wants to say something. Well, he said that once this is up, I can talk. What do you guys think about Doug Carter? Is it that like he's just like, man, I need to, pardon me, spill the beans? Like, is there a therapist somewhere like Doug Carter's therapist that knows all this that can't, because of doctor-client privilege, whatever it is, they can't. They better have some evidence if they want people to believe Rick Allen did it. Kid says no corruption, is just government. Well, yeah, the a lot of red tape and yeah, there's corruption. Now, corruption again can go back to this cronyism, nepotism, favoritism. It doesn't look like it when you're a nepotist. Like, well, my dad was a judge. Now I'm a lawyer, and I grew up around town. I used to play football with so and so. He doesn't. But that technically that's criminality. You're not out killing anybody. Yep. Jeff Jones says, yeah. Well, I don't know. Again, humble opinion, speculation, assumption. Just from my personal, again, I came on to tell this story about being. Take a look at. Kid says, take a look at the Canton mass case. I have no idea what that means. I've been working so much. I'm not on. And I don't follow true crime unless it's fascinated with the Delphi. But I haven't even been up on that. It goes beyond incompetence. Something. This is Jeff Jones. It goes beyond incompetence. Something the cops are involved in is needing to be hidden, and they are trying to work it out. So many be involved in. Could it be like a mixture of incompetence and just crony favoritism? We belong to the same country club kind of thing. I think it might be. I know in the Zodiac killer case, because when I was younger, I was fascinated with the Zodiac killer, and so he'd do these crimes in different like counties. So it was more like prideful. They wouldn't share information with each other. Hey, I'm the one to getting this, but not you, you son of a. So decades later, they realize now, like, man, we probably could have solved this if we weren't a bunch of narcissists. Is it narcissism? Could it just be that? Like, it's like human behavior, like psychology. Just I was a hard-headed son of a bitch back then. I drank every day, that kind of shit. I think that's what it is. I've talked to Ruckus Rock, and we've agreed on certain things about like that could be because it's hard to have. For one, I don't believe in like across the board corruption. That's not how it works, man. If there are corruption, it's just itty bitty. It's like a peppering, you know. It's not like you pouring curry over every fucking thing. No, it's you know, a lot of pre-crime corruption, meaning before the crime and then the crime's done. It's harder to corrupt. You can't go in and be like, okay, well, I'm going to corrupt all of y'all, the coroner and everybody. That's Ruckus and I both said, hey, man, you can't do that because Ruckus comes from that police background. You can't. There's paperwork. People, and they're looking after their careers. They're wanting a pension. They're not going to fuck you. Who are you? Don't tell me. I get that. But on higher levels, there's a smidgen, if you will, like a peppering of, and not every judge is corrupt. Come on, man. That's not how it is. It's just a few, a little bit. Again, I don't know why they didn't. The former prosecutor, Robert Ives, is that his name in the Delphi? He said that like this should have been solved. There's something I can't put my finger. Ego. There's something I can't put my finger on with that. Maybe that's why it's fascinating to me. Like the small town, Indiana. And the whole world is like watching, and damn, I don't know. It's fascinating. And pray for Abby and Libby. Shit. And pray for law enforcement. And pray for Nick, the prosecutor. Shit. Can you imagine? He's aged. Dear Lord. He looked like one of the Backstreet Boys when this first started. Now he looks like friggin', poor dude. When this is over, I'd love to have a beer with like Doug Carter. After he's retired, he's all haggard up. Just like pumping with some, have another shot of, Fireball or whatever the fuck it is. Do tell, Doug Carter. Just pump it, get a bucket of Budweisers and I think it could be. I think that there could be something simple. So they'll have to cover up certain things so it doesn't lead back to their career or their pension. So they'll just cover up just so they didn't do the crime. But it's something that they, in their personal lives, and I've talked about this. You can go back and watch some of my Delphi videos. That I think that might be what's going on. is there like a, I know this sounds crazy, but like people's sexual lives, their sexual secrets, and they're married and they're, they don't want to know they're having an affair, or maybe they're bi and they're on the down low or something like that. Cause see, that happens too. Again, I could give a fuck, but because what's his name? Wasn't the dude? There was a guy, Ray Hanish, then he got whacked, and now Kurtz or whatever the fuck, he's all. I mean, there's something there. I don't know what it is. I think it's like this. It's not a linear line. It's like this non-linear shit. It's like a pointillism of So if they know about that, then it'll and this guy was you know a CI, my CI. It'll make me look bad. Is that what it is? Like confidential informants. They don't. Again, it gets weird. It could be that stupid where these people had nothing to do with the crime, but there's certain people that are involved in the crime that when they start talking and they're like, well, hey, him and I used to go to orgies together and he's married. He would never, I don't know. It could be that simple things. Again, I'm not, again, this is assumption. It's weird. Weird. I used to live in North Hollywood and I lived off of Lancashire, and there was this building, and I thought, no, there was not even an address on it. Because there's a lot of that. There'll be bars. There won't even be an address. There'll be a name of a bar. And it's a hop. And Friday night, you think it's abandoned. Then on the weekend, you cruise by, and there's a line out there, and it's like, what is this? And, oh, this is the newest. It's called, whatever. So there, for years, I drove by this building in North Hollywood, and could be perhaps Jeff Jones. This nondescript building. It had a weird wall and a side door. Like you could tell they built it on. And these sidewalks in LA are wide. It's not like one sidewalk. Hell, you could drive a truck through. And I drove by this. You just don't even, who gives a fuck about, I thought it was abandoned. And then, you're not going to believe, but my landlord, she was older, but she was rich. She was like she was like a swinger or something. So she's like, hey, will you take me to this sex club? And I'm like, no, I'm not fucking going. Pardon me. For one, I didn't want to go. And I'd already been drinking too. I've been drinking. She wanted me to drive her. And she pulled it up on they had a website, and it showed all the inside leather, black and red walls and fuck swings and cages and all this crazy shit. And one room was, anyway. Well, then they had a picture of the outside, and I go, well, that's that building that I drove by for a decade or more. She's like, oh yeah, there's no, you have to know the secret, Are you shitting me? That place? She's like, yeah. So one day it was during the day. So the party was from 11 a.m. to 3, because I was like, I'm not going at night. And I found out there was a day. So we were like, dude, should we go? It was $60. We knew somebody that you had to know of. And how they do it is you go in and that you have to become a member. So when you go in, you pay your $60 and they give you a card. They take your license and you become a member for one day. You're a member for a day. Okay. That's how they dilly-dally around these laws. And I go in there and it's like, oh, are you kidding me? Actually, it was pretty cool. They had an outdoor patio in the back. It was opened up. They had a kitchen. They were, I remember, I was like, what's that smell? And they were making broccoli cheese soup, because they had like a spread. You could bring your own booze, And then I walked through the sex gala of people doing, God, no, you don't want to know. Actually, good times. I miss those days when you could again, you want to see. I didn't want to, I was scared to touch they had all these leather couches and chairs, and we were laughing our asses off. We left there and we were like, what did we just see? It was worth the $60. I mean, Is Delphi a swinging community? Again, I don't want to say. That's speculation. That's why you might cover certain things up. You might be married, you're a swinger, or you don't want people to know, and you're a cop or whatever. And I don't know. Again, people's sexualities, they'll do a lot of crazy stuff to cover up with their secrets. Has to do a lot with sex. Yeah. Definitely. Jeff says CIs have definitely caused some cases to go cold for sure, man. They'll cover up for CIs because they don't want to. It'll go back to them like, well, that's your CI. Yeah, I don't know. Again, crime is strange. Being a swinger is not a crime. Um, but could that be something simple like that? Like people are, or even drug use. I don't want people to know that I'm. Think about it, man. Why do people hide? Everyone has secrets, dude. Nobody's exempt from. So would it be like your sexuality? Would it be your drug use? Again, I don't do drugs. I don't even smoke weed anymore. I used to smoke. I used to be a wake and bake stoner for probably 20 years, but I don't even smoke it anymore. I drink beer. I smoke cigarettes. Matter of fact, I need a cigarette. But I think that has to do and the reason I say that, I think there's something involved with the Delphi. Small communities, they get bored, they gotta, come on. And there's all these websites now with all kinds of I'm a furry or whatever the fuck it is. Everybody's got some kind of weird ass, um you don't want to know, you know. I think something like that is involved, has nothing to do with murder. But down the trough a little bit, there is like, secrets. Secrets. People don't want people to know that, oh, by the way, I used to, or I am, uh, you know, could be furries. Yeah. Is that what's keeping this from being, they're furries? They don't want people. I mean, I get that's so stupid to say, and it's a joke too, but that's what I'm saying. You know, I'll tell you one more. Okay, about people's sexuality. I was in bands in Hollywood, and I was playing clubs. In Hollywood proper. The Viper Room, the fucking whiskey, all these other things. And then there was these doormen, security, and they go from club to club, and sometimes they'll work at multiple clubs. The Roxy. I actually used to work at the Roxy. I used to do loadout, which is after the gig, you're paid like 150 bucks cash to move all the shit into some kind of van or fucking tour bus, whatever the fuck it was. So I was playing Hollywood in my band, and there was this one like stage manager, security guy, big dude. And after a while, I forgot how it happened, but him and I got into some loggerheads, right? And I was scared of this dude. He was big. He always wore black, and I forgot. Well, he was just always mean. Like, get the fuck over your shit. And so one day I was like, man, go fuck yourself. Whatever happened. He got my face. But I remember I got back in it. You don't want to back down. You don't want to show any. And I saw something in his eye, and I was like, oh, okay. By then, you've got a little tarnish on you. You're calloused. And I saw it, and he did too. He did this thing with his head, and he was like, damn. And he left me be. And he was always nice to me. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, there's something about, what is it? Like, yeah, you could probably grab. He was bigger than me. And I'm 6'2", 200 pounds. He was a mountain of a dude. So years later, I don't even think I was playing, because I used to be in band mode. Then I'd switch to art mode. I'd do art gallery, or actor mode. So I hadn't seen him for a while. And I used to have some strange creative friends. Okay. And one of my friends, she was taking me to a Daniel Lanois concert at the Silver Lake Lounge. And Daniel Lanois is best known as a producer. He produced like U2 and all this stuff. But he's a musician in his own right. I love Daniel Lanois. She's like, hey, meet me at my place, and we'll go from there. And you can drive. Like, pick me up. Like, okay, I still a million people. So, and I knew she had an alternative lifestyle. People do. I don't judge. So she lived in a nice place. She lived like at Hollywood proper, right by, there's a famous liquor store there. God, what's it called? Anyway, cool little condo, and I knock on the door. She's like, hi, acting like everything's normal. She opens the door. I walk in, I get the living room, and in the chair, she's got this guy, this bouncer, stage manager, big dude. There's like sexual rope play. Like they tie people up. It's called I don't even know. But in fact, they don't even have sex. It's just about like they tie them up and gag, whatever the fuck. And she was a dominatrix. I don't even know. Right. I can't, and it was him. And she's like, oh, that's one of my slaves or one of my submissives. I don't know. And I'm looking at him like, dude. And he was going, I can tell he's like, don't tell anybody. Like that was his kink. Like he was into, and I go, I know this dude. And I even went, she's like, well, slap him around about it. I go, no, I don't want. I go, dude, I wait. You better. Anytime you see me, you better. When if I'm playing, he was like, yeah. And he did. And he was, I guess you call it a submissive or something. So that's what I mean. Like there's these things that like, I thought he'd kill anybody. He's so big, but his secret was he was, a submissive. He liked to be tied up and she told me, like, I've never had sex with this guy. And I think he was paying her to do this. I'm not saying it's not that deep in the Delphi, but man, there's people have secrets in their lives. And I do. I mean, granted, I don't want to go walking into someone's house to see that. But in a weird way, I miss those days. I miss being young and crazy shit happening like that. I know it sounds crazy. Because I used to be a wild man. This is, again, 20 years ago. 20 years ago. It's not like this happened last year. I've changed my life. That's what I'm talking about, though. People have secrets. They're not going to come out and fucking tell you. I'd have never thought in a million years of this guy. But when that time we almost got in that fight, there was something in his eye, and I did too. I was like, because I got a few beers in you. You're kind of like liquid courage. You got my face. I was like, I was done. You're like finally tired. Yeah, I'll fucking kill you. And he was like, whoa, and I was like, wait a minute. Oh, okay. Like something. Again, you get streetwise about that shit. You're just like, wait a minute, this motherfucker. I've been scared of this dude. Well, I could. He's into rope tortures. I don't even fucking know. He had clothes on. He wasn't even naked. He was just tied up. She left him. We went to the Daniel Lanois concert, and that's the night. I swear this is true. Oh my God, should I say that? So, no, I can't say. One thing I will say, she got in a fight with Courtney Love. I'll just say that. Yeah. Again, good times. I've lived 1,000 men's lives. That's why I'm so bored now. My God. I mean, I'm an old man. Look at me. I mean, fucking how haggard I am. But I had fun. I mean, this sounds crazy. It sounds like there's no fucking way. He's lying. Yeah, well. Perhaps. But yeah. And the spider web of these, it's endless. Like what? I remember that night. Then after the Courtney Love fight, I thought, dear God, I'd forgotten about the dude tied up. Did you go give him water or something? Huh? Take the ball gag out of his mouth? Do you let him go to the bathroom? This was a nice apartment. Oh, and I swear this is so stupid. It was the She had the drummer of Korn used to live in the same apartment, and I met him. God, what was his name? Dave Silva Terry or something like that. Again, it's Hollywood. It's just endless. It's just what? Now, he wasn't there that night when the dude was tied up, but I mean, crime is strange. Life is strange. You know, people have secrets, man. Deep, dark secrets. I don't have that. Come on, dude. I was a nester. I was into relationships. But I had to. A lot of these people like would book my gigs or help me. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these people. Um, and that's why honestly I didn't succeed because I couldn't get funky and freaky like that. I'm a small town kid from Tennessee. See what? Like I don't fuck. Huh? What do you call that rope torture? What is it? Shushabi? I don't even know. Hey, I'm a master at it. Yeah. Master. You call yourself a man? Fucking shit. And here's this dude. Crazy. So, is that how it is in this elite world? This spider web that's connected here and there, and there's all this. Once you're in that web, then there's all these tentacle. You know what I mean? Like, I think so. I think so. So you have to cover for, if that finds out that then I have to say, I won't say anything because I don't want them to know about that's what I think it is. I think it is. Tina, oh Charlie, you got to do more lives. This is a good. I think I might do it like once a week. I miss everybody. I miss you guys. I miss doing the YouTube. I miss my podcast. I was totally burned out. You won't really understand or know until you've done it every day, 300 days in a row, never missed a day. And I don't know why they were. What I found out from talking to people and stuff, it wasn't a person; it's an algorithm. So my podcast, for one, I'm not that good. Two, I smoke. They don't want to promote smoking. I curse, right? I talk about nefarious shit. I, so that algorithm, it's not a dude or a girl or what. It's just that 001101. It's an algorithm. It's not some. I know that now. So then they'll shave off my subscribers. And matter of fact, I'll lose subscribers every time I did 2 updates and I lost every time I did like maybe 5 to 10 every time. When I click off, I'll look and it'll be so when I go back and if I see they've shaved off. I get it. It's no big deal because I'm not in it. I'm not doing it every day. I'm not there's so many people that are better than me. And I admit that. I'm just not, I'm just an old dude. I'm at 52. I mean, I'm not going to get that young, you guys want better. And I don't have all these programs and spawning window. I know. And quite honestly, to do a personal inventory on yourself, you have to go like, wait a minute, would I watch my podcast? And I was really doing some deep dive. I go, no, shit, no, man. Look at you. That's why I quit. It's like, would I watch me? Absolutely not. So I get it. And that comes from a truth. And you're like, thank God, you feel better. Like, shit, I don't God. At least I'm honest about it, though. I'm not like peacocking around like, yeah, I'm the best in the world. No. Fucking hell. But I do love you guys. I really do. I had a blast. That 9 months was really cool. People were, making me hats and t-shirts and uh, reaching out. Never met anybody. But that is what it is. No regrets. I'm happy. Well, look, I mean, I got to get out of here. I've been doing 124. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna probably do this like maybe once a week. Perhaps I will. We shall see. Yeah. I'm glad that well, I kept my live stream on. I usually would keep it off. Um, I think I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna live stream because for none of my videos, I would never because I wanted to flow. I wanted to riff like a you know blues musician. So I want to read. I got to wear my glasses. I hate wearing my glasses and the glare. See, look at this. Yeah, it's that. But thank you guys. How many people are what? 4 people. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much, man. I love y'all. Be blessed. Cheers.